Wikispeed, Lynnwood, Washington, December 27th, 2015. I'm here with Matson, Scott, and little baby Senna. And what we took on today was a wiring harness extension. Here is the ignition, and with the OEM Honda R18A 2006 Honda Civic wiring harness, the ignition didn't reach all the way up to our driver's seat because we have the mid-engine car, but with the OEM harness right now, the original equipment manufacturer harness. The ignition stayed right about here. So what we wanted to do is create basically an extension cable that would bring the harness forward. Ideally, we wouldn't cut the wiring at all, but we were unable to source matching male-female sets of the OEM harnesses. So we bought a weather pack kit, a standard weather-rated wiring harness connection. And step one was creating a male-female pair on the OEM wire. So it's not any longer only by the length of wiring harness, but we can now create an extension cable with weather pack connectors and splice it in. Now there are four connectors to support. This brown one, this white one, this yellow one, and this green one. Testing the car in advance, we found it started without the green one in place. So we started with the green one because even if we weren't able to complete the connection, the car should still start. This green one is now complete and connected. Matson and Scott tested it by inserting a probe, an electrical probe in this end and in the back of this harness to verify continuity all the way through the area they changed on all four wires. The next step will be doing it to one of these other bunches, like say this white connector, and then the brown connector. The yellow connector it also starts without, but we could do it as well for completeness. I believe it's actually an airbag system connector, which we're not currently running live. We have it deactivated and masked off. So we might not even worry about the yellow one. But brown is the power voltage to the starter motor, so that's required. And white, I believe, is the signal to verify the key matches. So that'll need to match. And that's the current state today. And I have a piece of granola right on my larynx. Scott or Matson, anything you'd like to add for someone who is also splicing into the OEM harness with weather pack connectors? Anything that you would tell them before they started?
Take your time.
Measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We timed ourselves. These four wires all together with conversation and going to buy a pair of wire strippers because we didn't like the one we had and we couldn't find our good one, was 2 hours 45 minutes. So not at all what we would have guessed in terms of how long we think it would take. That was the actual clock time, but that's everything we did. So one, take your time, allocate time, measure twice, cut once. I will say, make sure you have enough length before you cut. Leave at least 4 inches between the connector head and where you introduce your cut. So when you make a mistake, you can cut it out and go further. We did have one mistake and had to trim it, but also it gives you room to move.
Also, one more thing is if you're going to do male and female, you want to do it so that if the extension is not in place, you still have, you know, a male and a female. So that way you can have either the extension cord in place or the extension cord not in place, and you can still hook it up.
Absolutely. So not an extension cord that's a male-male end or a female-female, but one of each. Same on the OEM wiring harness, so you can clip it back into itself even without the extension, because you guys are awesome. Any other tips for somebody?
Have fun.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.